members. My name is Edward Wall. I live at 79 Dana Street in Cambridge. I'm here on behalf of the Energy Committee of the Massachusetts chapter of the Sierra Club to speak on the Zero Net Petition, number 5. I think that this is an opportunity to have an open and full dialogue about the effects of renewable energy on the city. It's not easy to do, but it surely is necessary to do this time. What I'd like to do is bring your attention to a couple of issues you should keep in mind as you consider this petition. One issue is environmental justice. You will hear that from developers that renewable energy is too expensive for you. Well, I don't think that's true. Given the study we've seen, it's actually less expensive than fossil fuels. Not only the loaded cost of fossil fuels, but actually the implementation today. I believe that the speaker who spoke earlier today that you'll see increased costs of fossil fuels, and natural gas and coal and oil is correct, and you'll see the cost of renewable energy go down. You also have to keep in mind that today and for several years you'll see tax benefits for the development of renewable energy to reduce the cost of renewable energy to the developer. I don't want you to lose sight of the fact that some of those cost benefits can be shared with the residences and the business owners in this town to reduce the impact of net zero on them in each instance. Another opportunity you have, I think, is to make sure that the developers in town are educated about renewable energy. One particular thing you can do is to require dual submissions. So when someone submits a petition to a zoning board or planning board, it includes both a proposal for renewable energy solutions as well as fossil fuel solutions, require them to compare the two dollar for dollar, tax credit to tax credit, benefit to benefit, and long-term and short-term. In addition, of course, that way you'll educate the developers, and also educate the community. And that developer will not only be working in neighborhoods, but be working in other towns. So they'll carry that education to other towns, and you'll be able to go ahead and proselytize and turn that developer into a missionary or across the state. Secondly, this is innovative, but that's what we in Cambridge are good at. So don't lose the opportunity to do that. Third, in addition to educating everyone here, it is something we just have to do. In summation, it is a road not yet taken in Cambridge, but whose time has come. So it's a road that's necessary to travel down. So open the dialogue and have it full and come up with a good net zero zoning petition. Thank you.
We want to talk about why it might not make sense to build buildings for the next 50 or 100 years that will continue to add to our carbon footprint, that will continue to put greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Second, we'll look at net zero, and we'll talk about why it's a practical approach to mitigating greenhouse gas emissions. We'll show that there are at least 4 different ways that a building can achieve the net zero standard, and there's also a fallback option that allows a building owner or operator to purchase renewable energy credits. Third, and this is very important, we will talk about how net zero is economically viable, how it's possible to do development with net zero, and how it can add value to our buildings. And finally,
Madam Chair. Madam Vice Mayor.
I ask to suspend the rules in order to allow the speaker to
Non-suspension rules to allow Mr. Connolly to finish his statement. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. Please finish your statement.
thank you, Councilor Simmons. Finally, we would just like to talk about what passage of this amendment will mean for the city of Cambridge. I think it's a very special opportunity, and I look forward to playing a humble part in the process. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chuck Bitkin. I live at 18 Fayette Street. I'm speaking about the Connolly petition, zoning petition, a citizen petition that was filed. I also want to put a word of support for the Teague petition, but I'm going to speak about the Connolly petition. And I want to, as a co-author of this draft, because I want to explain the thinking behind it. I believe it's very important. It would require special project review special permits to avoid emission of greenhouse gases in daily operation and mitigate the risks of extremely dangerous climate change. And it proposes a clear and enforceable definition of net zero greenhouse gas emissions. And the proposed amendment does allow developers a high degree of flexibility in meeting the net zero performance standard. There's a performance standard, there's also flexibility. The petition includes a schematic illustration of the key elements of the petition. Key elements are reviewed by the planning board, similar to the large project special review for traffic and design impacts. Building energy efficiency is encouraged, on-site generation of renewable energy is encouraged, and this is key, all energy consumed at the site beyond renewable energy generated on-site must be from approved renewable sources or off-site and verified renewable energy credits. The fundamental purpose of the zoning ordinance is defined in section 1.30. I think this petition speaks to that. Conserve health. There are planetary health risks from climate change. Safety from flood, panic, and other danger. The flood is high on the list of dangers of climate change. Conserve the value of community buildings. What happens to the value of our real estate in Cambridge if there's uncontrolled climate change and sea level rise? The conservation of natural resources and prevention of pollution of the environment. And to preserve and increase the amenities of the city. This is very properly a zoning amendment. To be dealt with by zoning. Last March, Carl Pope, former executive director of the Sierra Club, said in a talk at Harvard that we in the U.S. need to cut our carbon intensity emissions by 90 to 95%, or near the net zero level on average within 30 years. And this will require replacing or retrofitting every building in the U.S. Well, if we hope to stop extremely climate changes, net zero is no longer a matter of choice for new buildings. It is an immediate, urgent necessity. British climate scientist Kevin Anderson laid down the challenges. Basically, we need to be reducing emissions by 10% per year, year after year. Reduce it in order to have a hope of stopping extremely dangerous climate change. I have not heard a response from climate scientists disagree with that statement. Cambridge's responsibility, building on the sustainability compact that was just signed, which is a tremendous, terrific step. And on the net zero MLK school building. Terrific step. We cannot wait for the federal response studied by Republican denial and opposition to Congress. It is a challenge, not easy to doable, and will pay off in the long run by speeding truly green building transformation that is so urgently needed in Cambridge and elsewhere.
Thank you, Mr. Pittman. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Aaron King. I've lived at 40 Essex Street for the past 23 years. And I'm here to speak about the NetZero zoning petition. I've just recently come back to Cambridge from school. I'm really excited about this petition and other efforts in Cambridge. And really what I've been doing, I'm really excited to talk about it at the planning board and the ordinance committee. I understand it's a long process, but I've initially started some research and I thought I would take a couple minutes to just share a couple things that I've learned about the energy use and distribution in New England and Massachusetts. So the first thing I'd like to address is the adoption of solar energy in Massachusetts. There have been a lot of new incentive programs and renewable energy portfolio standards that have been added to our state. And really the way that these work is it creates kind of a race for installers to fit their solar energy that is deployed under some sort of cap. And right now that cap's at 400 megawatts of solar energy. And it's actually created a big boom in solar energy, and the growth has been unexpectedly high. We have reached 300 megawatts and should be reaching 400 megawatts by the end of the year, which initially wasn't planned to happen until 2017. And so that is actually planned to increase to over 1,600 megawatts. And there's been a lot of supply, but there's actually a lack of demand of these renewable energy credits that are created. And so it seems that we've started by just creating the deployment, putting solar panels up as much as we can, and incentivizing it as a state, but we haven't created the incentives on the demand side for businesses and commercial institutions to actually be required to buy these renewable energy credits. The next item I'd like to talk about is about the natural gas use in the state. And so Massachusetts has done a fairly positive thing by reducing its use of coal in creating electricity. And most states replace that with natural gas, which does reduce emissions, but it's still a gas emitter, obviously. And I would like to read some excerpts from a document that I found, and we'll summarize them right afterwards. So, Concentric Energy Advisors was obtained by Spectric Energy Company to review and evaluate the long-term natural gas demand of New England. Concentric reviewed and evaluated the natural gas price implications and resulting cost savings to New England regional access on new infrastructure and access to increased northeast shale gas production. And lastly, incremental pipeline capacity that debottlenecks certain pipeline constraints and allows access to growing U.S. domestic natural gas supplies are needed. So basically what they're trying to do is build a new pipeline from the Pennsylvania area where there's a lot of shale gas production, which you guys might know more as fracking to get at the shale gas.
Thank you, Mr. King.
And so
Thank you very much.
The council, my name is Susan Ringler, and I live at 604 Green Street. I am here this evening to speak in favor of the Connolly NetZero zoning petition. I just want to emphasize a couple of things. One, that this petition affects only very large building projects in Cambridge, and it offers a variety of ways for the buildings to comply. This is actually a tremendous opportunity for Cambridge. The city of Cambridge can be on the forefront.
Good evening, my name is Kristen Von Hoffman and I live at 205 Walden Street. I'll be brief and to the point. I'm speaking tonight in support of the Connolly petition for net zero buildings, as well as Councilor Chung's order number 9 regarding fossil fuel divestment. I believe they both come at an optimal time, given the recent signing of the citywide sustainability compact, for which I would also like to.
Secondly, I want to support fully the Connolly petition for net zero zoning, especially considering the fact that the city seems to want to build skyscrapers everywhere, which are really going to need to conform to net zero, or our environment is, Kendall Square, etc. Square, is going to be intolerable. So bravo to Mike Connolly for submitting this petition.
The net zero, it's about time to do something really big, really bold, and possible. Please send this one on and give it lots of consideration. And finally,
thank you very much, Councilor President and Mayor. These are wonderful. They use no electricity and they cool us off, and that's my goal. First of all, commendations on the net zero zoning matter. I think that's superb. We really need to be implementing them, and I would like to second Ed Wall's suggestion that cost analysis of both the building costs and the use costs for renewable energy versus traditional costs should be implemented immediately by inspectional services. And I will go and talk to Ranjit Singanayagam tomorrow morning about that. I'm a member of the Sierra Club National Energy Committee. I'm a member of the Sierra Club Greater Boston Group, and I'm strongly in support of that net zero zoning revision. I think it's very important that we implement these changes immediately. We're over 400 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. If you want to learn more about it, go to climate.gov.
Also, I think it's a no-brainer to support the T petition and Mike Connolly's petition for net zero with the falling prices of renewables, in particular solar panels. Going net zero is not only a visionary move, but it's a cost-effective move with renewables outpacing non-renewable energy in terms of cost effectiveness in the 2015 and 2017 horizons, at least